hope you enjoy this, but certainly feel free to ask any questions along the way. I could talk about it forever, very passionate about this place, but I can't talk about everything, obviously, in this short period of time, but if there's something that you're interested in, please bring it up. So I really want to talk first about, who our people are. So I'll give you a little bit of statistics on that. If you see this, we currently have 23 departments, 21 centers and institutes. That allows there to be about 117 divisions. And in terms of the dean's office, we have decanal offices for like graduate medical education, undergraduate medical education, community engagement, etc. There are a total of 8 of them now. And they really serve a vital purpose. And the school really reaches beyond our borders. Some of you will have been around in the era when we had the regional campus at Madisonville, but some won't. So what a lot of people don't realize is we have 12 to 15 students per year that train in Madisonville in a rural healthcare track, many of which are going into family medicine. When you look at urban medical campuses, probably 7 to 8% of those students will go to an underserved area or a rural community. If you look at the Madisonville campus where we have those students, about 45 to 50% of them go and practice in a rural community. So maybe that doesn't seem like a huge impact, but it's a much larger number in proportion of those students, and I think that's increasing. The interest in that campus is also peaking, and we're looking at the development of a regional medical campus with Murray State University in Murray, Kentucky. So that's kind of a really fascinating way for us to accelerate. We've done that, and one of the initial things that we've done to support that is if you're going to have a medical school, you have to have graduate medical education. So we have hired the first program director and are launching the application for the beginning of an internal medicine residency program at Baptist Hospital in Paducah, Kentucky. So that's another way that we're kind of expanding our educational footprint throughout the Commonwealth and not just here in Louisville. So if you look at our network of people, you're part of this really big group of about 11,923 alumni that are living and out there across the nation and world. And that's really an impressive number. I think I told you last night that we're going to be celebrating our 190th birthday next year. The school opened in 1837, so we've got a lot of alumni out there, and we're trying to really reach those people better and let them know what's going on with the school. We have 181 endowed professors, and we want to have more. Having named professorships and support for professors is a great way, a recruitment and retention tool to bring faculty to the university and to make sure we have a high quality faculty. Some of those professorships are actually named after people who may have been your instructors, people like Bill Christopherson and others. So it's really, they were my professors too. So I have when I see that name, it actually means something to me, and I'll stop and talk to medical students about it. I go, do you know who that was? Or I'll ask them who's this painting on the wall of, and do you know why his painting's on the wall? Because our history is important. It really is. And then and our donor community is growing as well, and you can see the numbers here. I won't read it to you. I think in the learner population, we are in a 22-block area of the city of Louisville that's now designated as LUMED, or the Louisville Medical Education District. That includes Jefferson County Community College, the Norton Academic Hospitals, the University of Louisville's Medical School, Public Health School, Nursing School, and Dentistry School, as well as University of Louisville Healthcare. So it's 22 blocks of healthcare, and in that district we're doing considerable amounts of improvement. What used to be across the street, across Chestnut Street from the old Louisville General Hospital, if you'll remember, was a jail. That jail is no longer there. It is now a park. It's now a park, and it's a place where food trucks can assemble. We actually had our freshmen or M1 medical students over there during Welcome Week and had a pizza and a picnic out there, along with the farmers market that occurs over there every day. So you're going to see a renaissance of activity in this 22 blocks. We're doing streetscape improvements along Chestnut Street. The next plan for that in LUMED is to improve the walkways and appearance of Abraham Flexner Way. We're building also this 200, and we'll hear more about this in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. But there's a lot going on here to make the campus safer, easier to walk, and also look better. And I think those are important when we're wanting to attract students here, attract faculty here. People want to feel safe, and people want to feel like they've got a great school, and they also kind of like a place that has a little greenery. So we're trying to achieve all of those goals. Our work. I can't possibly describe the entire breadth of work that occurs in this medical school. I'm pleased to say, I don't know, I may be missing some former faculty, but I at least know that there are 3 faculty members of the School of Medicine who are alumni, who are current faculty members that are sitting in this room. And each one of them are dynamic and incredibly effective, and we're proud to have them here. So seeing our students who do residencies here or elsewhere and come back here and join the faculty that have that much affinity for the place, that is something meaningful. When we can bring, and I'm one of those people. I did medical school here, went away, did my residency and fellowship, stayed an extra year in Pittsburgh, and then came back here in '94. It was really a calling to come back to Louisville, and we need to really maintain that kind of atmosphere, so we bring our brightest and best people back here. So I'm going to talk about some things we're really proud of. Extraordinary, this is actually a dated statistic because the 2026 ones just came in. Actually, our match rate this last cycle was 99%. So 99% of our students matched in the U.S. in effective residencies and fellowship programs. We've increased our class size, as I told many of you last night, to an entering class of 175. That's the top limit we can do. We would like to probably go beyond that, and at some point in time we would like to possibly move up to about 200. The state is enthusiastic about that. We would need more instructional space to be able to accommodate a class of that size. Probably some faculty recruitment, key faculty recruitment as well, to be able to do that effectively and appreciate really a good class and keep the quality of our instruction high as we want to. So we're going to do that incrementally and carefully, not just because we want to grow for the sake of growth. Our graduate student population has increased, and we now have the 1837 Society, which is really donors throughout the community, including alumni and friends, who are substantial donors, and our real focus right now is scholarships, as we'll talk about in a little bit, and unmet financial need of students. In the U.S. News and World Report rankings, we've really gone up. U.S. News and World Report doesn't rank all of the 155 medical schools 1 through 155. They rank them in tiers, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. The vast majority of the accredited medical schools are Tier 3. Very few, probably 8 medical schools, are Tier 1. We are really at that watershed between Tier 3 and Tier 4. And not just for the sake of getting good rankings, but because those rankings really reflect good things you're doing. We are on a journey to move towards Tier 2. And I think we'll be there very soon. And that means academic performance, match rates, research done, and all those sorts of things. So we're really paying attention to those things, and we really have an active plan to move forward on those items. Really proud that we were number 34 for the most graduates practicing in rural areas. Those are areas that don't have doctors and need them. So for us to make impact in that area is a tremendous thing. 53 in the most graduates practicing in health profession shortage areas. The Health and Human Services defines areas that don't have enough health care as health profession shortage areas, or HPSAs. Kentucky's 120 counties, there are 107 health profession shortage areas. So, and that dominates a lot of the South and the Midwest part of America. So we really have to lean into that and work on that problem. That's part of our goal and part of our purpose and the public trust that we have as a medical school, is to make sure communities have physicians. And we're 83 in most graduates practicing in primary care. We were also recognized as emerging and top research institute, or research medical school. So really proud of that, and I'll tell you a few things more about that as we talk about research innovation and being a powerhouse. So you'll see that we had 572 active research projects, over 205 new grants last year, 415 non-federal, $48.7 million annually in just NIH funding, and about $103 million in overall sponsored fundings of research annually. So that's a huge portfolio of research to manage. And that ranges from all kinds of things, from immunology and cancer, to personalized medicine and immunogenomics, to environmental health care issues or environmental impact issues on human health, to name a few topics. So really proud of that, and that tends to grow. In the United States, the research medical schools are kind of graded by what's called Bremer, or the Blue Ridge ratings. We were number 75, and last year we accelerated to number 71. And that is a huge movement. To move one position is an incredible amount. It's millions of dollars of NIH funding to be able to make that kind of movement. And the school has been able to do that. And it's not me that's doing it. It's really a dedicated group of faculty that are really working hard to make an impact in medicine. So extraordinarily proud of that. As far as being a premier university here in Louisville, we're really proud, and you saw some, if you go across the hall into the rec room for the students here for the M1 year, you'll see a number of posters that show renderings of the new $280 million health sciences building. That's going to be a transformational building. Our School of Public Health will move into it. We will have a core laboratories move into it. We'll have a 64,000 square foot simulation center, which will be among the largest healthcare simulation centers in the United States. So extraordinarily proud of that. We also received 2 federal appropriations in the last appropriation cycle that are going to allow us to build a biosciences building down south of the Belknap campus on what's called the Innovation Park. It's really right behind the Speed School of Engineering, for those of you who know that campus. And it'll be the first building that goes up on that campus. And that's going to accelerate our ability to have collaborative work between the School of Medicine and the School of Engineering. And in particular, we're doing a lot of work with the Department of Defense on increasing the health of our military population and the fitness of the military population. Believe it or not, there's not a whole lot of research in that area in terms of how do we ideally do it. And the Veterans Administration is also very interested in it, of how do we keep those people healthier in a longer period of time. So we're really engaged in that. And our Department of Defense funding is almost equivalent to the amount of funding we get from the NIH. So we're grateful to be helping the veterans of Kentucky and military of Kentucky.
How does the Evolved Defense Lab out on the Shelby campus fit in all that?
That's really good, and it's part of that whole ecosystem, because we want to look at, first of all, it was kind of related to things that we would have classically thought of as germ warfare. So looking at high-intensity pathogens and how to make sure our warfighters are not exposed or can be protected from those types of things. But obviously that translates into a lot of things that are related to national security. When you have pandemics, if you have infectious disease that is unregulated, that can be a problem. So it's going to definitely be a part of that ecosystem.
And aren't they ranked like 1 through 4? Was that a level 2 lab?
It's a level 2 lab, and there are probably fewer than 20 in the United States. Not many. So this is really a big deal. The other thing that came out of that federal appropriation, with our Department of Biochemistry and Genetics, we are beginning to have, or we are building now in the tower, right behind us or right to the left of us here, we're building the Center for Precision Medicine. So this is high-intensity genetics sequencing laboratory that will allow us to really lean into and do much more research in the area of personalized medicine. And this can be integrated from cradle to grave. We're talking about doing personalized geriatrics to personalized pediatrics to personalized surgery. So really an important opportunity, and really grateful to Dr. Melissa Smith and that department who will lead that institute. So huge things. This past year, one of our largest research institutes in the entire University of Louisville is called the Envirome Institute. It was named after Christy Lee Brown, or endowed by Christy Lee Brown and the Brown Foundation. That institute published a enormous work called the Green Heart Project. So this is a longitudinal study that took over 15 to 20 years to accomplish that showed that planting trees in neighborhoods decreased inflammation that could promote coronary artery disease. So just having more trees in your neighborhood lowered your neighborhood's incidence of coronary artery disease. So, and inflammatory disorders leading to plaque formation and things like that. So really pretty amazing stuff there. Our neurosciences core is growing. Just yesterday, before I came to the reunion, I met with all of our neurosciences departments. We have the Kentucky Spinal Cord Injury Research Institute. We just built and completed a $4.5 million pediatric version of that, led by Dr. Andrea Berman, which does sensory stimulation on infants that have spinal cord injuries, and she has been able to demonstrate substantive improvement in their motor function. So this is not invasive, sticking needles into babies' muscles and stuff. This is sensory-based therapy and pretty minimally invasive and showing considerable activity in the rehabilitation of spinal cord injured kids. We have in that clinical and translational research program, and then the clinical program that those children can graduate to, we have students coming here internationally to be part of that program. We've had families move to Louisville to be part of that program, from Canada, from Australia, and from all over the United States. So that is a point of pride for this university because the reach of that program is well beyond our walls here in Louisville, Kentucky. We also received another, about 3 years ago, an incredible grant from the NIH called a CTRD grant. That's a center grant. And this center grant has allowed us to establish considerable funds to promote young investigators in the university, both faculty and students, through what we call presidential scholars and dean scholars. And already that program and the participants in it have then generated more grants and brought more grant funding and established more substantive research programs within the university. So just extraordinary programs and things for you to be proud of for your medical school. I want to talk, let's divert from that a little bit. So we've got the facts and figures in hand. I just want to highlight a few people. And I think that this will restore your faith in humanity. Okay, that wasn't my initial goal to do today, but I think it in some ways does, because it does it for me. So I'm going to highlight a few learners here. Chelsea, who you see up here, was part of our post-baccalaureate program. She's a young woman from Indiana who got married and had a family, completed nursing school, but after having 3 kids, she said, I really want to go to medical school, and she was really bright, and how am I going to do this? So she came here. She had to punch in and do some things to get ready to be ready for medical school. So she went through our post-baccalaureate pre-medical program, which is an 8 to 12 month program that allowed her to get the curricular needs that she needed taken care of. She entered our medical school, had a 4th child, successfully finished, was at the top of her class, and then matched in dermatology, which most of you know is a very competitive residency to match in now. So really extraordinary young woman who's done great. Caitlin, who you see here in the center, won the overall University of Louisville Award for graduate students. This is a graduate student, a PhD student in the school, who won the Guy Stevenson Award, and she is just an exceptional researcher, and we're already trying to recruit her back because of her tremendous work here at the university. Sarah is a young woman who was part of our GEMS pathway. So this was students who came in, this is a guaranteed admissions to medical school type of program, a stellar high school student who came in and joined our MD PhD program, and another young lady who's just tremendous. And it goes beyond this. Andrew Ray was one of our anesthesiology residents in his 2nd year, has really had a passion for advocacy, and is now on the board, a KMA board, related to that position. So we have a resident who's actually sitting on the full Kentucky Medical Association board. He's a tremendous young man who is very passionate about advocating for patients and understands that the doctor's role is beyond the exam room, that we have to get out there and fight for our patients and sometimes fight for ourselves as well. The last program I'll highlight here for a second is one that's called Bluegrass Biodesign, and it's been in position for about 5 years now. It's led by Dr. In Kim, who is one of our pediatric emergency medicine faculty, but he's just an innovative guy. He's an MD, MBA, graduated from our business school, came to us from New York, and Ian patterned this program after a program that was at Stanford's medical school, but he twisted it a little bit because it was largely gauged at residents, and he made this one a program that's gauged at medical students. And this takes faculty and students from the School of Business, the School of Engineering, and the School of Medicine. It creates teams and cohorts every year, and the overall charge is find a solution to something we don't have a solution for in medicine. And they work together as a team. They've developed everything from process systems to apps to medical devices. And they now are competing on a national and global level with regards to innovation and healthcare improvement. And really, this program has taken off and become just a tremendous program. So I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about challenges. So challenges, notice this is just a bleak black and white slide. Nothing exciting, no color there. That wasn't intentional, but I just noticed that myself. But I would say one of them that it keeps me awake at night is unmet financial need of students. So if you look across the nation, the amount of debt senior students graduate with overall is terrible. Our graduating students graduate with $240,000 worth of debt. That's U of L. We're in the 75th percentile of the nation. So it's too high. It's too much. UK comparatively is $220,000. That's not great, but we're even above them. And for public universities, public medical schools, we're also above the mean. It's a multifaceted problem. We're trying to give increased financial counseling, encouraging students not to overbuy, overborrow. We're trying to really counsel them well, but we also have to have more scholarship dollars. Kentucky, UK, as I said, is about 20,000 less in debt, and they give about 20,000 more per student for scholarship dollars. So the way to tackle this problem is to have them borrow less. We have worked really hard, and the Council of Post-Secondary Education puts strict rules around how we can increase tuition. We have minimized our increases as much as we can for in-state students, but have gradually moved up some of the out-of-state tuition. But it's still a lot. It's a lot. But the cost of running the medical school, the operational cost of instruction are obviously very high. It's expensive to make doctors. And so that's one of the challenges that we're working on. And we have plans, but obviously the university and the medical school can't solve that alone. Volatile funding environment in healthcare and higher education. You know, in the last 36 months, we've seen so many swings in terms of where healthcare is. So we have to be involved in advocacy, and we are, and we'll continue to work on that as we meet those challenges. LCME medical schools represent and their hospitals represent about 12% of the nation's hospitals, but they take care of 28% of the nation's Medicaid patients. And if you even do a deeper dive on that in that 28%, they take care of a high amount of the Medicaid expense. It's because they're taking care of higher acuity patients. So our responsibility in that global health care, and whether they get Medicaid or not, they still come to our doors. We've called them a variety of things over the years, indigent patients, whatever, charity patients, whatever you want to say. But those patients come to our doors regardless of the economy, regardless of the event. So that's one of the things that we continue to have to advocate for and show our value proposition to the community. And we're trying every day to do that in a meaningful way. Wellness challenges. So post-pandemic, what do I mean by that? Gosh, we all have wellness challenges, right? I had a few when I was getting up in this morning. You know, it used to be walking to the shower wasn't a challenge, but now I find that why am I sore in my left ankle while I'm walking to the shower? But the wellness challenge I'm talking about here is that we have students that come from a broad set of environments. and we have students that may have intrinsic family support or not. Some don't. And the number of behavioral health challenges in all students is higher. You know, our level of support was, well, you know, go out there and get it done. Now, I understand the need to build toughness, and we do that. We try to build mental toughness and physical toughness around doing the job of medicine. It's a tough job. But I see sometimes students that have pitifully poor support networks. And they do get problems with anxiety, and they do get problems with depression. And so it is vitally important for us to make sure we build a welcoming environment. There are kids that come to our steps that have just not had the kind of support that I had when I was a medical student. You know, that don't have a mom or dad to call. And maybe some of you didn't have that either. But it is a sharp challenge, and it challenges medical schools all over the country, not just us, and universities all over the country. And then supporting our faculty and staff to have a high-quality academic center. John Roberts, who was here, who's in John Roberts' class? Anybody in here? So John, as you all know, was our famously long-term graduate medical education dean. Mentored me when I was a program director in otolaryngology. He was that dean, and I got so much wisdom from John. But John used to, one of his admonitions is we've got to put the L back in learn. Think about that a minute, because medicine has transitioned to a place that earn has been the coin of the realm. You know, RVUs, how many RVUs are you generating? How much this, how much that? So, we're familiar with that, right? Okay, got it. I knew that. See why this is in stark black and white and no friendly bright colors, no flowers? So we have to manage to be able to support faculty to be teachers and understand that teaching is valuable, understand that research is valuable, understand that getting someone inaugurated into those careers is valuable. It's worth time. And maybe it doesn't generate revenue, but it's still worth time. So a lot of my time is spent exercising with different audiences that that's valuable, and we need help in being able to support those young people in that vein. So the future, I'm almost done, and then we'll get our paper out and make it 1 through 10. So we have 4 pillars in the strategic plan. I told most of you, if you heard me last night, I talked about our mission statement and vision statement of the University of Louisville. First time since I've been here in 1994 that it contains the word health. So the overall university is leaned in and understands the importance of health, and so it understands the importance of this campus. And that acknowledgement is just amazing. And it's really been a great thing to have that happen. So in the area of learn or teaching, this Tier 2 medical school ranking, that means strengthening our faculty, strengthening our academic standards, strengthening our student support, strengthening the things that allow our students to succeed. Discover, we're working hard on NCI designation. We received an initial appropriation of $5.2 million from the Kentucky legislature last biennial session, and anticipate even getting more dollars from them to support our drive to make our Brown Cancer Center an NCI designated center. That unlocks the door for a lot of more federal funding. It unlocks the door for faculty recruitment. It unlocks the door for bringing high quality faculty in the oncology space to our university and to our medical school. We need to, through this, also enhance the number of clinical trials. We've had really a strong clinical trial program in cancer. We want to strengthen it in areas other than cancer too. So we've got, in neurosciences, for example, we want to be able to do more infusion-based care and innovation in the space of multiple sclerosis and movement disorders. And we now have a team that is capable of doing that kind of work. So that's how growth is affecting our research enterprise. In the Connect pillar, Connect means community engagement. And with that, I would say there are really some enormous things I would highlight. Our Western Kentucky partnerships I've alluded to already, so I won't repeat that, with the Murray State campus, the Madisonville campus, even on a larger scale for the entire health science campus. Many people don't know we have a nursing school in Owensboro, Kentucky, and that's a very powerful one. We have 3 family medicine residencies, one in Glasgow, We have one in Owensboro, the one here in Louisville, and also an affiliated one in Madisonville. And we are now growing to have an internal medicine residency in Paducah, Kentucky. We've talked about the health science building, and that's, again, not only for our learners here on this campus, medical students, etc. It'll allow us to bring high school and middle school students to this campus, allow them to have experiences, allow them to see if they're interested in a career in medicine or in health sciences. That's really powerful. I want to see yellow buses outside that new building, and I want to see those young people coming in and having an opportunity to think about medicine. This last summer, we have what's called the Summer Research Scholars Program, and we had over 100 students down here doing research projects with our faculty that were high school and middle school students. And that's the largest number we've ever had. That's really important. That's how you capture their interest, you capture their imagination, and help bring them here. Global footprint, and we highlighted Ghana and Malawi. We have an embedded faculty member in Malawi, for example, that has worked with our medical students, public health students, who looks at disease prevention and epidemiology. She's an epidemiologist and a member of our Environmental Institute, has brought groundwater genomics technology to Malawi so they can help predict the safety of water and when different pandemics or disease processes are emerging in their community. It's the same stuff we do here with our public health department in Jefferson County. So being able to take those things and scale them globally, really important. A growing program in the Philippines as well. And many more beyond that, but I would highlight those programs. When we talk work, we're looking a little more internally, and that's the happiness of our faculty and staff, not only the happiness, but the fairness and a positive environment. We can really, our learners will be much happier if our faculty's happy and our staff's happy. And we are lucky to not have a high turnover rate of either. We've had faculty that have been here for a long time. I mentioned earlier to some who came in, who remembers Pat Harris in physiology? Anybody? Talk cardiovascular physiology. Pat, I think Pat is 84. Pat is still a member of the faculty here, an active member of the faculty, and even within the last year developed a new fully online Masters of Physiology program. So talk about vitality and working hard. Pat's an amazing person. So that's the kind of people that we want to bring here and we want to keep here for as long as we possibly can, with Pat being an extreme example in that regard. We also have a lot of shared governance. We have a staff senate and a smart staff group. We have a faculty senate and a faculty forum. So I monthly work with broader groups of faculty to understand our university, to reach out to our university. So we're building solutions from the ground up, not just from the top down. You got to listen to the people who are out there doing the work. So this is our effort to do that, and we continue to work to strengthen those types of relationships. So that's really kind of, in a nutshell, an abstract of the School of Medicine and Health Science campus today. But I definitely wanted to leave some time for some questions and some dialogue. So be happy to talk to you guys, and I'll bring the mic. I'll work the room here, as they say.
I have marveled at the notion that many people are burned out in healthcare, particularly physicians and nurses. When I was a young man, we saw some people drop off, by the way, but the numbers they're talking about are staggering. 30–40% of people are saying, gee, should I be doing this? That was not my impression when I went through training. What, if anything, are you doing to screen students so that they can have the essential toughness to get through medical school and training?
No, thank you very much for the question. So that was really embedded in the depth of that wellness remark that I gave there. So we have embedded counselors within the medical school. And they're not only there to talk with students when they have problems, they also are there for intentional programming that occurs almost quarterly to where they are building resilience. We're building resilience into the curriculum. We're talking about it more and talking about mental focus more. The other thing that we're encouraging is community. So if you think about one of the unintended consequences or problems that emerged after the pandemic, especially where we saw some acceleration of burnout, was isolation. So it's very easy when you're using a device, you see all these devices plugged in around the room, it's very easy when you're using devices that you're not sitting down and studying with each other, you're not relying on community, and you're not engaging in community. So we're intentionally building community all the time too. Are those perfect solutions, Dr. Eisenheimer? Probably not. We survey, we understand it. Interestingly, when we surveyed we did a climate survey of the entire university. And one of the things looked at domains that was looked at was burnout, and one of them was stress. Now, what might surprise you is that among all of the schools at the university, the stress level was the highest down here, but the burnout level was not. And I think in reflection of that and studying that topic a little bit, one of it is a sense of purpose. People may be stressed and doing a hard job, but they feel like they're doing something that matters. So we need to really remind people of what they're doing matters, and that the work has a noble purpose. Because if people believe that, then they can work hard and they can develop that mental toughness. It's a very imperfect answer, but we have to continue to work on that and make it better. Yes, sorry.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Snow. I'm a practicing family medicine physician. I was in the Air Force for 11 years, and I burned all the way out, sir. And it's not that I'm not mentally tough. It's not that I don't have the gut or that dog in me, as the kids say these days. It's the systemic issues. It's that I can see, I love seeing patients. I love, love, love patient care. I do not love that I'm missing my children's lives doing administrative work. I don't love that the charting requirements. I spend almost as much time seeing patients as I do charting, as I do my chart messages, as I do refills, as I do coordinating care. Like, I'm very fortunate that I went to school here, so I have colleagues who practice here who I can text and say, hey girl, I need some help. But when I do not have that personal connection, I'm playing phone tag with surgeons, I'm playing phone tag with specialists to get my patients the care they need. And that takes a lot of time. I work 7 a.m. to about 6 p.m. every single day. And that's why people are burning out. It's not because we're not tough. It's not because the job is too hard. It's because the administrative and the systemic requirements are killing us. That's what we need to address as physicians, what we need to use our voices for. Not blaming the physicians. Don't blame the person who's being affected. Look at what is surrounding them. What is causing this? You did not experience any of the EMR embedding that we have to deal with. And that, I'm jealous. I'm honestly quite jealous that people used to be able to see 30 patients a day and leave at 5. That's not my reality, and it's none of my colleagues' reality.
Good points. Thank you for that. Thank you both for those. And those juxtaposed comments are important, because this is a place where we also have to try to leverage technology. We are at a time of incredible change. So, for example, we're trying to build more ambient listening that actually works. So documentation can be done while you're in the room by a computer listening and gets all this stuff in the computer that we need. As you say, medical records were built for billing purposes, not for improving healthcare or improving quality of life of providers. So the struggle is real. And the answers are thinking about great ways to leverage technology, great ways to make it better, great ways to make physician lifestyle more tolerable, and then allow you to spend more time with your patient. Because I think that noble purpose and the passion I was talking about that kind of immunizes us, not against stress, but immunizes us against burnout, is being able to say, I went into this because I want to talk to patients. I want to help patients. So if we can get the doctors back to that, we'll be better off.
Just a comment, we've become
Yes, ma'am.
glorified, we've become glorified clerks. We're expensive glorified clerks. We do orders, we do notes, we do billing, we do social work. The social workers hand a piece of paper, so the patients ask us.
Right, and there's not enough of anybody, so a lot of folks are stressed. I appreciate the comment that, but I think we also, and I think about this as a dean because I lived in that EMR I had the same struggles there, and you have to rage against the machine a little bit. You have to, and I would tell my residents, medicine is inherently inconvenient, and it has been since I started it, and it still is today. And, you know, really trying to fight and battle that chaos and inconvenience is partly my job, it's partly all of our jobs. But, you know, I was a kid of the 70s and early 80s, you know, you got to rage against the machine a little bit sometimes too. So, okay, yeah.
I came in a few minutes late, so I don't know if you addressed it. But I'm curious about the demographics of your incoming class.
Sure.
And from what I hear, in my year, 1968, when I graduated, we might have had 3 women in our class. Anecdotally, I hear that women make up a much larger percentage of classes, and I'm wondering how that has impacted the practice of medicine.
Good question, a topic that's probably beyond our ability to answer here, certainly beyond my ability. We're about 54% women now. I would say that our women physicians are incredibly productive and resilient and a major part of our ecosystem. You've heard of, there are struggles that families have, I wouldn't say limited to women, that include men as well, in our current lifestyle that make practicing medicine complicated. We have increasing numbers of diversity, especially our diversity is largely in the African American population, but we have a growing Hispanic population in the South and in Kentucky. So it's something that we'll increasingly have to pay attention to as well, because that means if we have to have diversity in the class, we can obviously take or admit students based on protected classes. That's against the law. We can't do that. But we do appreciate the need for having diversity in the class because we want people to serve communities that they came from. And if you want to attack healthcare disparities, that's the way you do it. So pathway programs to gain students' interest, keeping scholarship programs strong so we can meet unmet financial need are critical things that we have to do to be able to promote that diversity in the medical school. I think we have an outstanding class of medical students. I will tell you, have faith in these people. Have faith in them. They work hard, and they are going to make a difference. And it's really easy for us to go, you know, and really, I think we have to cross that generational divide. You know, what John F. Kennedy said, the torch is passed. I mean, I feel like we're at a torch passing point in medicine right now. I see it in the faculty, I see it in the student body, I see it beyond. And we need to embrace these young people and embrace their success. So I hope we all can do that. It's my job. I get paid to do it. I will do it when I don't get paid to do it. But I hope that we all are deeply vested in their success and that we support them as fully as we can. Yes, sir.
Can you touch upon how what technology changes have gone on at the medical school, even since you were a student? Obviously, these were never here when we were there. I'm just curious, you know, are there lecture halls?
There's a much more small group learning now.
Okay.
So, you know, we had unit labs. They call them colleges now. So then they're named after a variety of dignitaries in the history of the School of Medicine.
Okay.
But a lot of more small group learning, a lot more integrating clinical topics as early as possible to keep people interested and understand that the curriculum is relevant. They have a ton of resources. So each student, for example, gets an Apple computer. They can plug into these stations when they come in. Josiah is one of the members of the AT team, the technical support team that includes IT. AI is embedded. And with that, AI policy and AI rules. You know, AI is neither inherently good or bad, just like the internet. It's not good or evil, it's both. So what you have to do is say, how do we embrace the best aspects of it and use the best aspects of it and amplify the best aspects? And how do you create rule sets and policy around misuse. So, you know, that's a moving target, and we're in the process of doing that. University-wide, and I'll get back here, we are working on enterprise management, education, and research in terms of artificial intelligence. And that's organized under the pyramid or the title of cardinal intelligence. We have to have an acronym. We have to have something for it. But cardinal intelligence will be the program. But we're trying to embrace it from the standpoint of its best use and also its misuse, and come up with the best things we can do. There are a lot of diagnostic tools. Oh my goodness, they get every textbook is on that computer. Their ability to do a PubMed research. Nobody's using microfiche anymore. What's different for me? Nobody's going to the card catalog. Nobody is having to fill out a form for an interlibrary loan because we don't have that journal, and we need to be able to get that journal, and it's going to be shipped from the University of Pennsylvania, and it'll take a week and a half to get here. So, you know, that's a different world. You don't see people lugging around a 60-pound backpack with Harrison's textbook of medicine in it. You know, that's why we all are hunched over like this now. So, you know, some of those things are different. They have many more tools, but think of the other thing too. So they don't have that backpack, but think of the body of knowledge that they have to carry around. So that laptop's lighter, but the expectation of what they learn, both breadth and depth, is larger. They're larger. And I was talking to one of you guys earlier, you know, and they use the term, once a medical student, always a medical student. The body of medicine is continually changing. So once you start this career, there are things that I did when I finished my fellowship that I never do anymore. And there are things that I had to learn to do that I didn't do or have any exposure to during my fellowship. I never thought I'd do robotic surgery, but I did, and had to learn that. So once a medical student, always a medical student.
Yes, sir.
I have 2 grandchildren in medical school now at University of Kentucky, and I'm grateful that we stay in touch almost every week. And they inform me all the time that they don't go to lectures anymore very much. They stay in their apartment and get everything on the computer. Is that, my question is that really healthy? I mean, I'm a person, I'm a people person, and I'm sitting here with guys that help me, and going to class and being in a lecture hall and interacting with other students was vital for me. And I just wonder if they're missing something, staying at home and watching a lecture on the computer and not being with other people.
Yeah. John, you share my concern in that sense of community. I think there's some great things about being able to do virtual learning. It gives flexibility to students that they didn't have before. And different learners have different styles. Some people like that. But I do think we're at risk of isolation. And I do think that that lack of a sense of community can create stressors that we're just now beginning to acknowledge and kind of unravel and understand better. So, and some of the younger alumni might comment on this too, but I do think we have to figure out ways, considering all the technology out there, considering the broad curriculum. Curriculums always get larger. I humorously tell the faculty, I've never seen a curriculum that has an excretory system. So you never stop having to learn all of the Krebs cycle, but you have to learn about 40 other things, okay? So with that breadth of stuff that we're studying, there's a lot to do. So they have a lot of independent study. Now, one way we fight that is we don't necessarily require lectures, but we have a lot of small group activity, small group learning, and it's practical learning. So you do the lecture, you read the material, but you come in and you're going to sit in a group of 6 or 7 with the faculty, and you're going to work through some problem-based learning. So you're going to be given a case, and you're going to say, what's the relevant metabolism and physiology related to this case? And what are the possibilities of treatment based on that? And then you're going to even look at what are the psychosocial factors that are related to that. So it's really sort of a holistic part of it. And I think the growth of that small group requirement it does kind of help immunize that. It builds a community, but I do think a greater sense of larger community. Now, one way we continue to battle it, we, unlike a lot of medical schools in the country, have preserved the cadaver lab. So with the CADE course, which includes anatomy, our students still dissect, and they dissect in that same room upstairs. It's been modernized a little bit, but it would look vastly familiar to you guys. And the cadaver lab, they're all together, and there's a larger sense of community. And then our class leadership, this is where we're talking about shared governance, having strong class leaders. We're trying to really build leadership training with our class leaders to make sure that they're reaching out to their peers and they're helping build community. Because as the dean, I can't build community. They see this gray-haired guy and they go, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't want to go to that event. But when their peers do that, it resonates better. So I don't know if there are any other comments on that. I'm looking to the younger alumni over here.
We met at the coffee shops.
We actually
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, yeah, so that's a more recent thing, but I do worry about it. I worry about it. I worry about that sense of community, and Glenn, who's my chief of staff back there, will tell you, every time I talk to them, I talk about building community, study together, be with each other, rely on each other. Almost the the military adage, leave no man behind, or no woman behind. Yeah, I think those are important things. Maybe one more question, and then unfortunately, I'm going to have to run, guys, and we'll actually give you the exam online later on. Anything else? Any other last burning questions or comments? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.